Your local station for Middlesbrough, CVFM.
Bernie Does the Borough, proudly sponsored by Teesside's Healthy Living Pharmacies. There's always a pharmacy open near you 7 days a week. Ask your local pharmacist for free and confidential advice on smoking, alcohol, weight and sexual health issues. You don't even need an appointment. Visit teessidepharmacy.net to find out more. It's 5 p.m. and the games are finished. The scores are set. And now it's time to hear from the Northeast's football mouthpiece. It's time for the Alternative Radio Phone-In. 90 minutes of spleen venting, honest opinion calls. Get involved with the biased banter by calling 01642 688 104. It's time for Bernie Does the Borough on CVFM.
Welcome to Bernie Does the Borough here on CVFM 104.5. Today in the FA Cup ended Arsenal 2, Middlesbrough 0. 2 goals from Giroud sealed the victory for the Gunners. If you want to give us a phone, talk about today's events, 01642 688 104. Give us a phone, give us a tinkle and discuss today's game. What game did I see? Arsenal, we know at the best of times, a very good footballing team. If I lived in London, Arsenal would definitely be the team I would support and go and watch on a weekly basis. If I'm being brutally honest, today they were head and shoulders above us. They outclassed and outpassed us. They outfought and outthought us. And in every department they were stronger, created chances at will. And we never really had a shot. I mean, there was one shot, Adoma had a shot where he hits it, Keita had a comfortable save, and the best chance we had was in 92 minutes. The ball came in for the flank, Kiki headed it and it hit the post. But if it wasn't for the heroics for Majias, I would say that my own thoughts were that we could have lost 6 today, but for Majias in goal. Some people questioned him being picked again ahead of Demi, who's our number one goalkeeper. But you need balls to do that and make selections and changes, and Karanka's proved that this season. He does it on a regular basis, and Majias was top draw today. As I say, but for his heroics, we could have been gubbed, walloped, humiliated 5 or 6, but it ended up 2. Hey, Arsenal's a great team. Arsenal's a very good footballing team, good in the eye, comfortable in the ball. They deserve the victory. There's no ifs or buts today. It's not even open to debate or question. Hopefully we can now focus purely on the league, and obviously we've got Leeds United coming up, Birmingham and such like, and that's the bread and butter. That's the real stuff that matters. If you want to get involved there, your views 01642 688 104. Give us a phone, discuss today's game, and I think first in the line to do that is Frank. Good evening, Frank.
Hiya, Bernie.
Come on in, Frank.
Bernie,
go on. Yeah, go on.
I want to give you the positive.
Positive. Go on then.
Because it's disappointing, you know.
Yeah.
Even I was hoping that maybe beat Arsenal and go on to the final. I'd love to have seen them in a cup final.
Yeah.
But the positive is, Bernie, we weren't really at the races today.
No.
And Steve Gibson was there.
Yeah.
And really that will bring Steve Gibson back down to earth. When he looks at that, he'll realise that there's still a lot of mileage to go yet in this Boro team to get them up to that level
of course,
of comfortable playing with the likes of Arsenal.
Yeah.
And it won't be done easily. So Steve Gibson will know that it might cost a lot of money if they go to the Premiership to boost their team, you know, to give them a chance to be able to compete against the Arsenals. Mm-hmm. If Middlesbrough pulled it off today, it might have been a bit of a false alarm, you know, smoke screen, whereas they've got beat, and no disgrace going there. They're one of the top teams in the country, if not Europe. They're a lovely footballing team. Everybody respects Arsenal for that. And getting beat 2-0 isn't that bad in a way. Maybe Middlesbrough could have done things differently and put a bit more into it, a bit more in the face type thing. But, you know, it's not so bad. Steve Gibson looks at that game, he'll know himself there's a lot of work to be done. And that might be with money supporting the manager. Yeah,
I mean, I just thought today, our approach, we looked very cautious. We were standing off Arsenal. We were admiring what they've got to offer, which is pace and trickery and creativity. Yeah. And we invited the pressure. The 2 goals was uncharacteristic of us. We're good defensively. We have been, even against City down there. We proved we could defend against the best. But today, the 2 goals were flawed. And we didn't really have a go at their rear guard. I think their rear guard like Man City, there is holes in it, but we didn't really pick the holes, and I thought at times we were chasing shadows.
You know, so some people might say that they had you give them too much respect, or was it just that Arsenal just were that bit better? You know, that much better than the Boro.
I think it was a bit of both, Frank. You know, we gave them too much respect in the first half. They capitalised on it. Their tails were up. And at 2-0 down, as I say, but for Majias, you know, he did it 4 great saves.
You're never going to pull that back at the Emirates, really, are you? Once you go 2 goals down, it's going to be an uphill fight all the way.
No, for the 90 minutes, in the 90 minutes, Frank, with one shot, that was a dome. It was a comfortable routine save.
Yeah. Well, I've been on a few times, Bernie, about goals. You know, I mean, I don't want to bang on about that, but that is something else you see there now, and this is something that Steve Gibson will look at in the positive and say, look, there's obviously big room for improvement.
That's right. I mean, it's
up there and still there.
Yeah, as good as we were against Man City, I thought we were really poor today. You know, we've went there, no pressure.
Well, maybe Man City took Middlesbrough too lightly, Bernie. Maybe they just, really disrespected Middlesbrough and they paid a hefty price for it, which is their problem. You know, possibly. Maybe Arsenal's done the homework. They knew what they played like against Liverpool. Yeah. Very unlucky. Mm-hmm. They knew what they'd done against Man City. And Wenger's a clever man. He'd have looked at that and he thought, we won't make the same mistake. You know, he's treated them with a great deal of respect.
Of course he has.
And you can't ask for anything more than that, you know. And he's done his own work, got the team right, got them thinking right. And you can't knock Arsenal, can you? The
thing is,
it's just one of them things, Bernie. Now, the really big game, comes on Wednesday night, doesn't it?
That's right. I mean, I bypassed it. I went right on to the Leeds game. We've obviously got Birmingham, then Leeds. So these are the big games, the bread and butters, the ones that get us back into the promised land.
Of course, and also, Bernie, this is going to be a real test of Middlesbrough's tenacity now. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're going to be disappointed, the players, but let's hope that's the kick up the derriere to get them in the right mood for Birmingham.
I agree.
You know, they're not going to be sloppy with Birmingham. They've got something to prove now. They can go out there and maybe he's banging half a dozen goals against Birmingham or something, you know.
I agree, Frank.
It's just about being positive.
I agree totally, Frank.
I mean, that's it. You know, bread and butter stuff now, the real stuff. They were the nice, dreamy games, you know, and everybody wanted to see them do well, but it's over with now. Mm-hmm. Now they've got the reality. And if they go into that game at Birmingham, they've had a kick up the derriere, and oof, that's it. Let's see them take off.
As I say, it might be a blessing in disguise because, you know, everybody is on the high horse, that we're all enjoying it, we're all tipping this to get promotion, and this is just a wee bit we'll come down to earth, you know, we're playing against a top class side.
But you get caught up in the FA Cup, don't you? Because it's just glamorous to the British people.
Of course you can.
You know, you get caught up in it. You all want to see this, you know, getting there. And, you know, I mean, even I thought, wouldn't it be great if, say, Sunderland got through and Middlesbrough got through and they both ended up at Wembley?
And Sunderland get beat with Bradford.
You know.
Sunderland get beat with Bradford, didn't they?
Unbelievable. I mean, well done, Bradford, by the way. They've done really well.
Fantastic. A couple of Boro boys in there as well.
Yeah, it's one of them things. But, yeah, the thing is now, Bernie, the tough games are here, the big games on Wednesday. Let's hope they're in the right frame of mind for that. It doesn't have any repercussions, and they can just go out there and, you know, make up for it.
Yeah, I mean,
get them angry, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be down in the dumps. I mean, you look at the Arsenal, Cazorla, there was Ozil, Alexis, Welbeck. Some of the big hitters were out there. Do you know, he did enough to think, hey, they're a threat, let's go and kill them off. And Giroud obviously scored a couple of goals and lucky not to get a hat-trick. But
they did it.
It's no disgrace.
Maybe if the Boro had a bit more experience, they might have got stuck in, you know. It seems to be what you do with Arsenal. You just don't let them play, and you've got to be in the faces. Yeah. And I think that's what the manager wanted from them, listening to his pre-match call.
And what you're saying, Frank, that is the one thing. You know, I remember us playing the Arsenal down at Old Trafford, was it a semi-final? And I was doing the commentary at the time, and I said, what somebody must do in that midfield, we must clatter one of their players. And if my memory serves me right, I think Windass clattered Vieira, and that set the tone of the game. Arsenal might have nicked it at the end, but we really gave an account of ourselves. Now today, led by Clayton and company, we're looking for one of them to really go in, clatter, make a statement and say, you're in a game today.
I'll be honest with you, if you do that with Arsenal, I think they tend to back off a little bit, you know, they don't like that.
No, they don't like that. They want you to sit back and admire. Yeah, I agree. So maybe that's it, we sat back and admired too much. We should have set about them, and we couldn't even get near them at times.
I think it's the name Arsenal, it's the Emirates, it's everything there. But, you know, I mean, next season, Bernie, if they go up, they're going to be going back there, and they've got to get in the right frame of mind for Arsenal. You know, it's a learning curve. They've got to get stuck in. Too much respect. It's not a good thing.
Frank,
I always used to think Bolton used to play well against Arsenal because this just steamroller them off the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't give no respect whatsoever. They just got stuck into them, you know.
Yeah.
Arsenal didn't like it, did they?
No,
but anyway,
at the Arsenal over the years.
It's over with now.
But Frank, looking at the Arsenal over the years, I mean, I've watched us getting some hidings, whether it be down at their place or up here at the Riverside. Highbury, I've seen us getting walked 4 or 5. I remember at home, I bought my son, who was a young lad then, I bought my season ticket. The first game was against Arsenal. We got absolute trounced. I think it was 4, 5 or 6. Mind Don Ray got a lovely back flick, scored a back heel goal, and my son never went back again. I've been involved at Highbury I remember when Rocastle and company, Tony Adams, we get beat 4 or 5. You know, they are a bit of a bogey team. They are always been a good footballing team, and it's no disgrace getting beat with them. It's no disgrace.
Not really. I mean, and 2-0 isn't such a it's not a bad score. Do you mean there's Premiership clubs getting beaten higher, you know, bigger scores than that by Arsenal? They're not as good as what they were, and they're having a bit of a sticky season, but they're still a great team, you know. They've still got everything going for them, and they do want the cup because they haven't got much more left.
Well, that kept Wenger on the job.
Just turning up.
That kept Wenger on the job last year, winning that FA Cup.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of pressure on him.
But you know, let's just hope that the Boro players and Karanka himself, he's learning the game. He's learnt a lot from that. He'll have spotted things, you know. He knows now the next step up for him is the Premiership. He knows he's had a feel for it. He knows what's needed. And as I say, Steve Gibson's watched that, and he knows now there's definitely a gap. Well, and how can you bridge that gap? And he has to work with Karanka.
Yep.
And let's hope that they can work it out together and see what happens in the Premiership. But you see, you're playing with that high pressure game up there. There's no favours done for you in the Premiership, Bernie.
No.
The top 4 and the bottom 4 can give you a good hiding in the Premiership, so you've got to be up for it.
Of course.
You know, they just don't give you no free meals, do they?
Definitely not, Frank. Listen, thanks for your contribution as always, Frank. Good to hear from you. And join us again, well, after the next game. Cheers, Frank. Cheers. If you want to get involved in your views here at CVFM 104.5, 01642 688 104, give us a phone.
Your local station for Middlesbrough, CVFM.
Bernie Does the Borough, proudly sponsored by Teesside's Healthy Living Pharmacies. There's always a pharmacy open near you 7 days a week. Ask your local pharmacist for free and confidential advice on smoking, alcohol, weight and sexual health issues. You don't even need an appointment. Visit teessidepharmacy.net to find out more. Have your say on the match. Unedited. Bernie Does the Borough on CVFM.
And if you want to get involved there, your views 01642 688 104. If you've just walked in the door, you've been out shopping, or I don't know where you've been. Arsenal unfortunately beat Middlesbrough 2-0. 2 goals from Giroud sealed the victory for the Arsenal. They are now in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Is it a wake-up call? 01642 688 104. Give us a phone. And on the line we have got Sven. Good evening, Sven.
Good evening, Bernie. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Sven. Come on then. What game did you see? What did you think?
There's a lot of crackling on this line as well, Bernie.
A lot of crackling.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you loud and clear. You keep talking, I can hear you loud and clear, Sven. Go on.
Yeah. Yes, Bernie, I thought we were very poor, particularly in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I said to the previous call, go on, carry on.
I thought we were very poor in the first half, and I think that we brightened up a little bit in the second half. I think that, you know, if we're going to be playing in the Premiership next season, I think this is the sort of side we're going to be coming up against.
Yeah.
And I think we need to spend a few bob.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt, and if we get into the promised land, i.e. the Premier League, we'll have to spend big, of course we will, to compete and to stay in that division. You know, one-off games, anything can happen. Man City, we were fantastic. Second half, we were brilliant. Scored a couple of great goals, made them look ordinary. Today we played the Arsenal, different kettle of fish. You know, and on paper, Man City's better than Arsenal. But on the day, Arsenal were far superior.
That's right.
Us. But I thought we gave them too much respect, Vin. You know, in that first half, we were admiring what they've got to offer. We let them play. We never clattered anybody. They created chances at will. And there was only going to be one winner. And when it went 2, and your heart of hearts, even the most ardent, blinkered Boro fan could not see his clawing away back into the game, which was a shame.
I think the thing for me, Bernie, is that for me, he makes too many changes. I've said this in the past. For me, he made 14 changes in 2 games. That's not very helpful for any team.
Well, today, Ayala was forced. I think Ayala was injured. Obviously, he brings Majias into the cup games. But the rest of the team's all first-team regulars, Sven. We know that Aitor Karanka made 7 during the week at Blackpool. I look at it, I'm not a massive fan of chopping and changing, but I look and admire that he's got the balls to do it. Some managers are fearful. They don't want to change it. I always think fortune favours the brave, and Karanka has proved he's a brave manager. You know, whatever's went on with him and Craig Hignett departed, he's replaced him. He made 7 changes at Blackpool. At 1-0 up, you're thinking, right, great. And then 1 each, you're thinking 2 points down the pan. And then lo and behold, hold on, my phone's gone, Finn. Anyway, I mean, he's got the balls to do it. And up until now, there's no questions asked because we're top of the league or up near the top. So everything's going to plan, Sven. Everything's going to plan.
Yeah. Right. Okay then, Bernie.
Okay, Sven. And then what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What about the games coming up? Obviously, got Leeds United, Birmingham, and such like. Massive games, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I think Birmingham, Leeds, and I think the next 2 or 3 are, to be honest, Bernie, because really, you know, if we want to get promoted this season, I think these are the sort of games we should be. These are the sort of teams we should be beating, and I think we've got enough quality there to do that. But if we get promoted, certainly I think we need a big overhaul.
Yeah, we
won't survive.
Yeah, we're getting promotion. You know, the tipsters always say that the newly promoted teams, if they don't spend bulks and don't spend wisely, the odds are they'll come down again. And that's happened over the years. It's been proved that. Is our squad good enough to compete in the top flight? Probably not. If we're being honest, probably not. We've got some good players. But untried in the top level. And I remember going in the top level, I was twice promoted into the old First Division, then the Premier League, and people questioned us collectively, individually, and it's up to you to go and prove it. I wouldn't write anybody off, but obviously they have to go and prove it, and it's a different ball game in the Premier League. The forwards will come up against better defenders.
There's a big gap between the Championship and the Premier League.
Of course there is.
I noticed that today.
You know, in the Championship, if you make a mistake defensively, you know, a lot of the forwards miss chances. But in the Premier League, you make 1 or 2 cock-ups, they punish you, and that's good night Vienna. You know, these guys at the top are ruthless. They don't mess about.
No, they are, absolutely. The top 5 or 6 are, certainly.
So was Majias your man of the match today, the goalkeeper?
I thought he had a good game, actually. He's not my cup of tea, but I thought he had a good game, actually.
Well, I thought he did a terrific game. I mean, in the second half, Welbeck, Ozil he saved for Ozil, then Gibbs, Alexis, Walcott came off and he tipped it around the post. In the first half, he had 3 down his throat. I thought he was, without doubt, man of the match for Middlesbrough. You know, overall, the Arsenal, where you could have had a pick several players because they really controlled, dominated and dictated the pace of the game. Yeah, they could have been
7 or 6 or 7.
Yeah, they pulled the strings, Sven. So, Sven, thank you very much for your contribution, your call.
Thank you, Ben.
As always, cheers. And if you want to get involved in your views here at CVFM 104.5, give us a phone on 1642 688 104.
Your local station for Middlesbrough, CVFM.
Bernie Does the Borough, proudly sponsored by Teesside's Healthy Living Pharmacies. There's always a pharmacy open near you 7 days a week. Ask your local pharmacist for free and confidential advice on smoking, alcohol, weight and sexual health issues. You don't even need an appointment. Visit teessidepharmacy.net to find out more. Bernie's back, and he's now on CVFM. It's Bernie Does the Borough.
If you want to get involved, your views 01642 688 104. Arsenal 2, Middlesbrough 0. If we're being honest, Arsenal won total control today from start to finish, created chances at will, did score 2 goals via Giroud. When you look at Middlesbrough's point of view, the goalkeeper for me was man of the match. Majias I thought was outstanding. He did several great saves, but for his heroics we could have lost 5 or 6. But we get beat 2-0, no disgrace. Now, Arsenal are a fine footballing team. I've always been a fan of the style of football and brand of football they play, and they proved that this afternoon. And they're obviously treating the competition seriously. I mean, the Cazorla, Ozil, Alexis, Welbeck and company, they were all out in the field today, so they were treating things seriously. And they'd obviously seen the damage we did to Manchester City. So they were aware of the problems that we could pose, and they snuffled them out. Let's go to Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Hello, Bob. Come on in, Bob.
It certainly no humiliation. I mean, for all it was complete domination, really, from start to finish.
Yes.
And it would have been more, but for me, it was having a wonderful game.
Yes.
I thought the save early in the second half down to his left side, where he had to go backwards and turn it around for a corner, I thought was superb.
Yeah, it was.
He was excellent. I'm pleased that he had such a good game, because there's been constant criticism of him, really after the fact that, there was sort of the feeling amongst a lot of fans that was he only there because he was a Spaniard and he played for the under-21.
Yes.
So, you don't get to play even a single game for Real Madrid if you're not good.
You're right.
And I thought he looked terrific today. But Arsenal, as you say, I thought Cazorla, Ozil and Sanchez just absolutely ran the game really from start to finish.
Yes.
The only blot on their copybook, I suppose, was the booking for the debutant, who otherwise was pretty good. I thought they looked solid. I was in a pub packed with Middlesbrough fans who were sort of saying that, it's only because we didn't play well on the day that Arsenal won. I thought that's slightly absurd. You've got to give credit. Arsenal are probably the best footballing team in the country.
Yes.
Certainly there's no team with so many players with such great close control.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Arsenal just gave Middlesbrough a footballing investment. And it showed really, Manchester City, let's be honest, did take the gamble of playing a number strength side, although there were players missing, of course, at the time. But Arsenal, what's their full strength side anyway? It's difficult to know. But they were, I thought they were, they were magnificent from start to finish. I mean, the first 10 minutes, what was it, 82% of possession.
Oh, the line share,
and over the game, I think it was 78%. I mean, it was men against boys, really.
It was.
But I thought certain individuals from Middlesbrough did very well. Other than me, I thought Muro was very good.
Yeah, Muro did well, yeah.
I thought, in a sense, the player that could have been a match winner, because I think he's the most important player going forward, was played in a way that wasn't going to help him.
Who are you referring to? Bamford, he's playing wide. As
an auxiliary right back.
But he's playing wide, he was asked to do the defensive duties, never come off.
Yeah.
Never come off.
No. And I personally wouldn't have taken him, because I still think his extra little bit of pace, I would have moved him into the middle.
I would have.
I think.
And that's what he usually does. Karanka usually does that.
Taking TK off.
Karanka usually does that, Bob. When he's playing Bamford wide, the second half, he usually moves him up the middle. But he just took him off today, and I'd have probably agreed with you. Yeah. I'd have probably put him up front.
I don't know why he did that, really.
No.
He probably feels slightly that he's been unfair to Kike, or Kike's missed out a little bit. I thought the substitution, trying to bring Reach on, and
Adam Reach, I thought
Adam
Reach come on and he looked lively. He was direct. He took the defender on, didn't he? Get brought down. So I thought he looked lively.
Fairly ordinary time of late, and it looked as if he might stretch them a bit, but it was just defensively as well. Arsenal were excellent today, but just from every player on their team, it is just such a consummate receiver of the ball as well as a passer, that they never looked as if they were, going to and their work rate was tremendous.
But it was. But Bob, why don't you think we didn't rattle some of the early doors? Statement of intent. You're in a game today. We ain't admiring you. We're going to set about you. We never seem to get near them. Is that because we're so good?
That's right. There was barely a tackle for the first 8 minutes, but when there was, I thought the referee was quick to stamp on things, and I think the referee was good because he wasn't someone that was going to let. Arsenal are the most fouled against team.
Yeah.
The most fouled team in the country, and I think quite often, teams go about them and try to destroy some of their good players. Stoke have done it on some occasions, and I thought, for God's sake, don't referee let that happen, because Middlesbrough do have 2 or 3 players that like to kick from time to time. Certainly Clayton does, and he's not terribly clever at it. Actually, they're always a bit, they're always blatant. And I thought Arsenal. I think the danger was that if they did that, they're going to concede too many free kicks as well.
Right.
And Arsenal, from free kick positions, have got more people that can score than probably any team in the country.
Yeah.
So I think the important thing is, even if it should have probably been 5-0, what is good is that the 2-0 scoreline doesn't look that bad, and the head shouldn't go down for any possibly good game on Wednesday.
Do you think it's a bit of a blessing then, Bob? Obviously we're out now. Do you think it's a blessing? We can purely focus on the bread and butter now, the league. We all want to get into the Premier League.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, it's the same, especially with Derby going out, and all right, Bournemouth dropped a couple of points against Middlesbrough. I still think Bournemouth are the team to beat. I think there is less pressure on them because they were never expected to be up there. But I think they've got by far the best choice in midfield of any team that's ever been in the Championship, and they are going to be the top scorers at the end of the season. But I think Middlesbrough have just got to consolidate and keep on. At the moment, they're on this incredible run of form in the league, and they've got to try and keep that up. I suspect that Leeds next Saturday will be an easier game than Birmingham.
Easy.
I think Birmingham.
It's a derby. It's a Yorkshire derby, Bob. Easy.
It's a derby, granted. It's a derby, but I don't. I mean, Leeds are actually improving, and certainly. But Birmingham, of course, is the most improved team in the country, because since the arrival of the new manager from Burton, I think they've picked up more points than anybody in the division.
Right. Okay.
Maybe Bournemouth the only ones that have got more. And I think they're just very, very good opposition now. And I think Birmingham at home will be, unlike 6 months ago when Lee Clark was in charge, when they were a soft touch, they're not anymore. And I think Gary Rowett's got a team that could yet make the playoffs.
Right. You believe that?
I know they have a further 9 points to make up, but at one point they had to make up sort of something like, they were sort of, they had to get sort of something like 2.5 points per game.
Yeah.
Now they only have to get 2 points per game, and they could make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I actually think the playoffs will be the top, probably the current top 6. Although I wouldn't rule Wolves out yet.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Bob, I'm just looking at the Championship table for those that don't know. Bournemouth's obviously top. Middlesbrough, Derby, Ipswich, Watford, Norwich.
Yeah.
And then you get Brentford, Wolves, who you think could make it, Blackburn, Norwich, Nottingham Forest and such like,
Yeah. Well, I think Blackburn, the cup success, or the cup victory, which was amazing, granted. And I thought Josh King gave his best display ever. I mean, Norway will be suddenly thinking, if only he could do that for us. He was superb on the day, but it won't help Blackburn's chances of making the playoffs. I don't think they're good enough anyway.
No, I don't.
But, because I think defensively they're a bit of a I think in midfield they're not. There isn't enough pace in the side. Despite Tom Kearney being one of the best players in the division.
Yeah.
So my bet is still that it'll be Bournemouth going up with any one of the next 7.
Come on then, Bob. See, I put you in the spot. Bournemouth and who? You see one of the 7. What's your gut instinct? Who's going to?
I actually think it'll be Bournemouth plus one of those that's a little bit behind, either Norwich or Wolves.
Do you?
And I fancy Derby. Yeah, and I fancy Derby to play Middlesbrough in the playoffs.
Dear me.
In the playoff final, and I think because Watford are a good side as well, and they just score freely.
Yes.
Their problem obviously is that they've got such a huge squad that they change the team not too much, which can be a problem sometimes for Middlesbrough.
I think Bob's gone.
The other thing I did think about today, and I can't remember, Forshaw was cup-tied, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I would play Adam Forshaw, I must admit, ahead of Clayton.
Ahead of Clayton?
Because technically he's far better, much greater gifts as Forshaw. And I think he's a player that that will do very well for them in playing regularly next season.
I mean,
I think
investment. Clayton and Ledbetter has been a fine partnership this season, Bob, and Clayton's
It has,
yeah.
But I still think at times that there's a lack of vision in the team. I mean, a lot of it's sort of one-off things from other players and some of the strikers that are, I mean, certainly sometimes, Bamford has shown great vision and Kike too, even Reach. But I don't think there isn't a playmaker. I'm not saying that's essential, but I still think it helps. I mean, the remarkable thing really is that Arsenal play a system with Flamini or Coquelin holding, that their other central midfielder, one who is an old-fashioned playmaker, really, much as Souness was, except Souness, of course, could also mix it.
No, he could. He definitely could.
Anyone, I think.
Yeah. Bob, let me ask you, obviously Bamford's a centre-forward with trade. He's playing right side today. Adoma, who's a right winger, is playing on the left. Adam Reach, who's our left winger, is on the bench. What do you make of that?
Yeah.
Is that square peg round holes? I mean, we've got away with it this season, but today... Go on.
Yeah, I think sometimes the manager does it to confuse the opposition and to get more out of his players. Okay. Because I think sometimes if they're expected to do things that they're not good at.
Right.
For instance, one of the truisms in football is that quite often people, when they use their lesser foot, are often more accurate because they put much more effort into it, and they have to, whereas sometimes they can become a little bit cocky about how good their right or left foot is.
Okay.
But I think the most important thing in a team always is balance.
Yes.
And if you've got players that are having to... Adoma is not going to score that many goals. I mean, all right, in previous seasons he's been either the top or second top scorer.
With a couple of efforts today, Bob. He'd one on target and one flew by the post. He had 2 efforts today.
That's right. That's right. But I think if you play too many players who would prefer to be somewhere else on the pitch, that doesn't help. And of course, the team got stretched, and I mean, Ryan Fredericks on a number of occasions had to come across.
Yeah, he did.
Really, almost into a central defensive position, which meant, of course, then that you're having Bamford having to track back constantly. Now, all right, a good side, and someone like Alexis or Sanchez does that automatically. You see him running 40, 50 yards back to win tackles, but if he can, then you can say, well, so should everybody else be able to. I think the slight concern still is that Middlesbrough did rely very much early on for goals from Ledbetter. They tend to drive up a little bit.
Still top scorer with 12, yeah.
They're not getting the same number of penalties probably that they once were, but which I think is normal late on in the season. But I still feel that it's quite open there. Apart from Bournemouth, I think there are about 6 teams that are of a similar standard. But Middlesbrough, probably more than most of the rest, are reliant very much on very good loan players. And that's a slight worry. And because how many of them will be there next season if they don't get promotion?
Yeah, well, that's a question.
All right, that's then up to the manager to bring new players in on loan that are very good. But there are 1 or 2 players that are coming through as well. I mean, I think Ian Halliday is a very good player that's on loan at York at the moment. I just hope, because there are now, well, at least 2 right backs at the club. Obviously, when the Spanish boy is fit, he's competition for Fredericks, but Fredericks isn't permanent, so I just hope they don't let Halliday go for... Well, not that York could afford him anyway, but he's a good player that he's good enough for the Championship.
Bob, listen,
I'm
you
not
ready?
too sure.
Go on, Bob, finally go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm not too sure about how many others are coming through just yet, but I think the under-21s have had a remarkably good season as well, and I think they've been coached very well, and there's the better use now of some of the senior players who are not playing the first 2 has meant that you're getting that the youngsters really are learning a lot more, and I'm delighted with that because I think more of them will play a part next season.
Okay, Bob, listen.
In the championship.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Bob. Cheers, always a pleasure, never a chore. My phone just fell out, but there you go. If you want to get involved in your views, 01642 688 104.
Your local station for Middlesbrough, CVFM.
Bernie Does the Borough, proudly sponsored by Teesside's Healthy Living Pharmacies. There's always a pharmacy open near you 7 days a week. Ask your local pharmacist for free and confidential advice on smoking, alcohol, weight and sexual health issues. You don't even need an appointment. Visit teessidepharmacy.net to find out more. Bernie tells it as it is, with no bull. Bernie Does the Borough on CVFM.
And if you want to get involved in your views, 01642 688 104, give us a phone. Discuss today's game. If you've just walked in the door, Arsenal beat Middlesbrough 2-0. 2 goals from Giroud. Arsenal lion's share of possession, as you would expect. They're a fine footballing team. Created chances at will. Middlesbrough, if I'm being honest, first half I thought we were a bit cautious and hesitant. We admired what was going on in front of us. And the 2 goals we gave away was uncharacteristic. Defensively we've been very good this season. But hey, don't take it away from Arsenal. One of the best footballing sides around, great in the eye. And but for the heroics of Majias, the goalkeeper, we could have lost 4 or 5. But 2's not a disgrace. There's been better teams than us beaten by the Arsenal, and we move on to the league action. If you want to get involved in your views, 01642 688 104, give us a phone. Next is Bandy. Hi Bandy. I can hear you loud and clear. What it is, we're doing a bit for the YouTube. And we're on camera, and obviously I've got earphones on, small earphones, so anyway I can hear you now. Go on in, Bandy. What game did you see?
That's fine.
What game?
So today was, I thought, I'll be honest, I'll be brutally honest.
Be brutally honest.
I love the Borough.
Yeah.
I thought we were comprehensively dismantled by a superior team.
Yes. Yeah. That's the game I've seen.
I can't say anything else really. We've given it our best shot.
Of course we have.
At times today we look 2 leagues apart, not 1.
Yeah.
2. They were brilliant.
Yeah, they were.
They've turned up today. There's been a lot of fuss in the press all week saying, "Oh, the Borough are going to do this," and Arsenal are worried. And Wenger's obviously said, "Look, we're going to use this. We're going to turn up, and we're going to play off the park." And I've got no complaints. They were brilliant.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah, we tried. We gave them our best shot.
So I don't think you can actually criticise the Borough today. You just got to say, look. 2 teams, 2 good teams, but 2 different levels, and that is the level we need to aspire to.
There was some gulf, Bandy, wasn't there?
Teams in the league, in Europe, in the world. There was a massive gulf.
Massive
At times
gulf,
we were chasing shadows.
Yeah.
But that's nothing to do with us playing badly. That's just a case of frustration, chasing the ball. 2 players today, Ozil, Cazorla, completely bossed the whole game, and you just got to hold your hands up and say, what do you do against that? You can't do much against it.
At times you thought they had 2 extra men. At times they looked as if they had 2 extra men. They always had a pass they picked. There was always a man spare. Incredible how they create that.
Sometimes you just got to watch a match and just take it for what it is.
Yes.
And the best team won by 5. Could have been 4, 5, 6, 7.
Without a doubt. How good was the goalkeeper?
He's had a great game. He's made some great saves. He stood up again. He did it at Man City.
He did.
He held us into the first half at Man City. We turned up second half and we had a go. But in terms of playing football and keeping the ball and the touch, the movement, Arsenal are far superior to Man City.
Yeah.
So that's why we've been picked off today. They were brilliant.
Yeah, they were. You have to hold your hands up.
You can only praise the opposition and say, look, we've done our best, but what else can I say apart from we were beaten by the better team? It could have been a lot more, and it wasn't, and that's credit to us, and credit to the manager for sort of organising us in the second half to not get picked off. And we were a bit more resolute, we were quicker to the ball in the second half, but first half, we admired a bit.
We did admire Bandy, we sat off them.
These boys are at it.
Bandy,
what do we do here?
Bandy, do you remember the time?
I was to watch.
Do you remember the time
I'm a purist. I love football, so credit to Arsenal. Credit to Arsenal.
Do you remember?
That's all I can say about that. Really.
Do you remember the time we played the Arsenal down at Old Trafford? Do you remember in the cup? It was a semi. I think it was a semi-final. We played the Arsenal
semi-final.
I think Vesta scored an own goal.
Done by a corner, and it was an own goal.
Vesta scored own goal.
Thierry Henry claimed it.
But was it
Vesta's own goal, wasn't it?
Going into that game, I remember saying on the radio, I was doing the commentary time, you know, we need somebody to make a statement, Windass to clatter Vieira, really let them know we're in a game. Today we didn't do that. We didn't really get near the Arsenal players to do that.
We didn't because, looking at that game back then, we were like the Bash Street kids then. It was a siege mentality. Look, we're going into this game, we're going to do our best, we're going to see how long we can hold out. Mm-hmm. Ironically, we were unlucky. We shouldn't have lost that game, really, but we did. Yeah. By albeit a corner, own goal, and that was it. But today, we're a good footballing team, they're a good footballing team, but they're a level above. Mm-hmm. If you watch the touch, the movement, they get it, and it's instant control, and it's gone. Yeah. We don't even have time to think.
And the flash.
And I'm talking about our best players here reacting. Ledbetter, Clayton. Yeah. They're in there trying to close down, but it's already gone. And they're thinking, where do I go now? So it was so good. You just got to say, look, they've beaten us. Simple as. Mm-hmm. You can't criticise Boro today. They've done the best. They've given it everything. Yeah. The fans have been tremendous.
Well done, the supporters that's travelled,
singing all game.
Yeah.
The fans know it. The fans aren't daft. They've witnessed today a fantastic footballing team.
Yeah.
Hopefully, with a bit of luck, if we can hold on to our manager, we could maybe aspire to Karanka as the next Arsene Wenger. But the way he approaches the game, the way we pass the ball, the way we keep possession, that's what we need to emulate. what we've just seen today.
Bandy, what was Karanka's quotes? What was Karanka's quotes after the?
Sorry?
What was Karanka's quotes after the game? I mean, I was hosting a Legends Lounge, and thanks to all the people that turned up, we all watched it on the big screen. Obviously, disappointment. But
I'll be honest, Slav, I've not seen them.
Oh, you've not seen, right?
I've
okay, I don't know what he says.
I could guess he will come out with something similar to what we've been talking about. We've played against a fantastic team. We keep the ball, they move it well, they tire you out, they weigh you down. I mean, they've got. I think the way they scored, the second goal was a bit fortuitous. Lack of marking. They were quick to the ball. Corner comes in. First goal, they cut us apart. It was just space, movement, everything. It was a brilliant goal. Yeah. And no matter how hard you try and you work on it all week, that's just down to individual player. Players just being a little bit better than you, a little bit sharper. Yeah. And that's why we're in the Championship, and that's why they're in the Champions League.
Yes, that's
and
a good
pushing
point.
on top four in the Premier League. So. Bit harsh if we start pulling players apart, saying he should have been stood there, he should have done that, he should have done this. You just got to hold your hands up and say, look, they were superior, and I don't mind that. If it had been pulled apart by a lesser team, a lower league Premier League team, or I think we could compete against, or a Championship side, then the players are open to criticism. But today, you just got to hold your hands up and say, we'll move on. No, let that be a lesson. That's what we need to aspire to. One day, hopefully, we might get there with a bit of luck. You never know, but the aim now is to push on and try and get some points in the league. We had a good result yesterday. Bournemouth messed up. They drew.
Yeah, they drew.
I know they've gone top, but we've got a game on them now. Psychologically, that's good for us.
Of course, it is.
So, yeah, it's massive. That was a great. So even though we've got beat today. Monday morning, players will turn up and think, right, we've done Arsenal now, we've had a go at them, they're brilliant, move on. Bournemouth have slipped up, we need to go and beat Birmingham, we definitely need to beat Leeds.
Yeah, I know.
That is massive now, massive
without
game. Huge game.
Yeah.
Their teams are up now. I work with a lot of Leeds lads, and they've turned the corner. They're not as bad as they were, but become hard to beat. So they will turn up, they will be hard to beat. Trust me, a lot of fans will think, we'll beat them, they're rubbish.
No, rubbish.
It doesn't work like that. They will be tough. That's a massive game now. So a little bit of pressure again. Just a bit, but I think we can do it. But it's how we do, Birmingham midweek. So,
Bandy, listen, thanks for your contribution. I'm glad your tail's still up, and rightly so. They're a good side. They're a quality side.
I thought we'd get a draw today. I thought we'd get a draw and maybe bring them back, and I thought we'd perform. I thought it'd be a little bit more solid, but
wasn't it?
At the end of the day, we've been undone by individual brilliance. They cut us apart, really. The keeper's kept us in it. He's had a great game. He's going to come out with it a lot more credit. The highest. Well done. He had a nightmare start to the season. He'll admit that himself. He was brilliant at Man City, and he was brilliant today. He kept the score down. So we move on. The players will, put their faces in the sink. Bit of cold water, bit of reality. and then think, right, Monday morning, back to the league, and we'll be fine. We'll be all right. It's just another game for us.
Bandy, thank you very much, as always. Thanks very much. Cheers.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
Cheers. And looking at the Twitter sphere. 01642688104 if you want to get involved. Chris Tomlinson, the Olympian, he's tweeted, basically we were outclassed at all levels. Paula, Newcastle fan, I don't know why he's getting in the mix. Normal service resumed. Boro and Mackham's out. Get the laughing policeman on. Chill. Obviously a hint of sarcasm there. John says, sometimes you need to hold your hand up. We were totally outclassed, outthought and outfought today against the Arsenal. Gerald says, bad luck, Bernie. Not as good a performance as against Man City. Well, obviously, every game's not going to be like Man City. And let's see, another one before we go to Brian. Bernie, that looks like a Simon Cowell boy band. I don't know what he's referring to. I'm reading them live, as you can imagine. Anyway, let's go to Brian. Hi, Brian. Brian. I can hear you.
Evening, Bernie.
Good evening, Brian. Come on in, Brian. What game did you see?
Bernie.
Good evening, Brian. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, just hit and miss, but I can hear you, Bernie.
Okay, and I can hear you. You know what I mean? Come on in, Brian. What did you make?
I see?
Yes.
I seen a game where, we respect them a bit, but they were quicker, weren't they, than that, and it's back to bread and butter now.
Yes.
I mean, I went out to watch it, Bernie.
Right.
And you can understand the reaction. Karen, called her, who was sat at the same table, and she said, we were crap. You can understand that, but don't forget, we weren't playing Bradford, we were playing Arsenal.
Yes.
You'd feel a lot worse if you got beat 2-0 off Bradford.
Of course.
And, I mean, you've seen that. You'll go at the goals. Yes, they were the better team. More possession, we were rushing up, trying to keep them in check and that. We got to about 25 minutes or so, didn't we? But you've seen in that first, before then, that the danger they had now are right. I mean, it's okay Bamford playing there in the Championship, but we were narrow on the right, and it happened 3 times before they scored from the right. We had loads of time.
Yeah.
They could have scored earlier.
Oh, they could have.
Changed it after that goal. Well, the second goal come quick. We fell asleep in the second goal. Disappointing that.
Yeah, fair point of view. But defensively, we've been good, Brian. But that was a poor goal to concede. The angle was tight. There was 2 men on him.
After that, we changed. Bamford went the other side, and him and Adoma switched, didn't they? And you know, it's worked in the Championship. And yes, you want Bamford in the team, but for the actual game at Arsenal, you probably would have been better starting with Adoma and Reach.
But this is a question I ask every week. You know, when it's going your way and we're winning and we're top of the league, nobody questions square pegs round holes. But you're looking at it today. Adoma switches wings. Bamford's a centre forward playing in the wing. Adam Reach is a winger on the bench. You know, when Reach comes off the bench, he looked lively. He was direct. He caused problems. You know, okay, they were minimum, but he looked like to give us a push in the right direction. But you know why? We continue to play Bamford, who's a centre forward betrayed, and a good one at that, and scored a few goals this season. Why do we continue to play him on that flank, do you think?
The thing was, Bernie, Arsenal, they're playing well at the moment, Arsenal.
Oh,
they're probably playing. They had a bad start the season. But at this moment in time, they're probably the best team on results in the division.
Yeah, they're red hot at the minute, yeah.
At this minute in time. They're improving as the season goes on.
Yeah.
And they've done their own work on us, and they've worked out, for me, we can catch them out on the right, and they did.
Yeah.
And that was the first goal.
Yeah.
Could have scored before it.
How good was the goalkeeper, Brian? I mean, Majayi's come in at the start, had his critics, still people are saying a lot well. He was good at Man City, and he was great today. He was a top man by
look at pluses,
go on.
If you look at the minor plus in the game, Majayi's, I agree with there. And another player I thought didn't look out of place was Adoma.
I thought he did well today. Adoma,
he had a couple of shots at goal. He created a couple of things.
He did.
And another player I thought done a lot better than he's been doing in the Championship when he's come in was Omaro.
Amuru done well at the defence, yeah, he did.
Because we've seen him in the Championship, Bernie, and he's looked a bit iffy about getting bookings and sending off. No sign of that today. You know, and he put everything into the game.
Yeah, he did.
And that's a good thing, because Ayala's injured. We don't know if Woodgate will stay fit.
Mm-hmm.
Really, what we want, we're a work in progress.
Is it a blessing in disguise, Brian? Is it a blessing in disguise where we think now, you know, we've been cock-a-hoop, everybody's on a massive high. This is just a wee reality check to say, look, still a long, long way to go, you know, before we're mixing it with the big boys.
It's still that golf there, yeah. I mean, what's happened. So you say, yes, you know, we go on from this game, and yes, it wakes us up again, doesn't it?
Of course it does. I don't think it's a bad thing.
And, I mean, I heard Bob talking earlier.
Yeah.
And totally disagreed with him.
What on?
You know, he's saying, there's 7 teams still in it.
Well, he says 7, yeah. And he doesn't reckon Boro. He reckons it'll be a Boro derby final.
It'll be either Middlesbrough or Derby will win this league. Between 2 teams now.
Right.
For me. It'll be us or Derby wins the league. Mm-hmm. We'll both get automatic.
For me. Bournemouth, are you writing Bournemouth off, like?
Well, they've done okay, but I just think...
Okay, they're top of the pile, man.
Derby have brought 3 players and haven't they? Benz, Inns...
Yeah, they've brought 3 good players in.
Done the right signings. Mm-hmm. And I think they're the danger to us being champions, personally. I mean, I'm disappointed with the day that we never got into the game a bit more. Mm-hmm. But it's different in the championship. And I've seen signs there that, you know, we will be okay in the championship for the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. I mean, I looked at Ayala's injured. I thought Boro done very well.
Yeah, Murray done well. Yeah, I agree with you.
And I mean, we have players. See, we're playing Arsenal today. We're in great form. We have players. You get what it says on the tin. We've got Clayton and Ledbetter. They play to a certain standard.
Yeah, today they get the run around. There's no.
They get the run around a bit because they were quicker, weren't they?
Oh, quicker upstairs and on the ground everywhere.
But we know that them 2 central midfielders in the championship will turn up. Mm-hmm. We know that.
Yes.
We're a work in progress.
Yes,
that's what I think.
Of course we are, Brian.
And I think we'll definitely get promotion. I know you're saying I'm overconfident and all this.
No, hey, look,
maybe I am.
Brian, I've spoke to you for years on Boro TV and the legends and everything, and I know that you're a confident guy about Middlesbrough no matter what state we're in. I'm with you. I still believe we'll get promoted. Will it be top 2? My gut instinct still tells me yes, but obviously the luck and fortune comes into it as well as your ability. You know, and you mentioned Derby County. If I was a tipster, I would say Derby will finish in that top 2. I do believe that because of the 3 players you've mentioned. McLaren's massive experience, just missed out last year to Queen's Park Rangers at Wembley. He's done the gig before. I think they will be in that top 2. And the players have brought in just sort of a stamps their authority in what I'm thinking. And Middlesbrough, I don't see why we can't be in the top 2 either. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time. I think we'll be back in the Premiership. I'm going to say it, Bernie. I've said it and that's it. I truly believe that we'll be back in the Premiership. And you get 100 million for being back in the Premiership if you get there.
100 million, Brian. What could you do with that?
And now, you know, the people are saying, "Oh, we're going to have to." I mean, I had another call. Was it Sven earlier on? And you're going to have to spend loads of money.
Yeah.
You know, to keep up with these teams and that. You look at step 1. You've got to beat the 2 that comes up with you. Another 1 or 2. You get a foothold in there, don't you?
Yes.
You don't. Say we get promoted. You don't just go and say, "I'll go and buy him for 10 million, him for 15 million, and pay him loads of money."
Yeah.
That is the mistake of last time, Bernie.
You're right.
You get value. I mean, you look at the team, the game today. You do not, unless you get a crazy price, you do not sell a dormer.
No, you're right. Like you're right. Well, listen, Brian, we're cutting short. Obviously, we'll get Birmingham, Leeds, and whatever coming up. So, thanks for joining us.
Bring them all on, Bernie.
Keep the pecker up.
Bring them all on.
And we'll hear you later on. Cheers, Brian. Thanks very much for your call.
Dan. Cheers, Bernie.
Thanks for joining us today. Ended Arsenal 2 goals from Giroud. Put us to the sword. We're out the FA Cup, but now we can purely focus on the bread and butter. We really want to get back to the Premier League, and I'll be back midweek. Thanks for joining us. Hear from you again.
Bernie does the Borough. This show has been an independent production on CVFM.